and welcome to another Vlogmas video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. We're getting to the business end. This is the second to last video, some call it the penultimate video, that will be going up this Vlogmas, and what a video it is. It's one of my favourite videos to make and prepare for. It's my things I love video. Now this is the 5th year that I've made this video around Christmas, and how it's worked is that it started off as a Thanksgiving tag where people had to talk about things that they were thankful for. I think it was 20 things, and I've adapted it over the years for it to be things that I love, and because I've been doing it for 5 years I do 24 things, so that's a lot of things. How many things? 124 things. 120. A lot of things that I've talked about over the years, and every year it sort of becomes more specific to the year that's just happened. Now you'll all know the year we've just had, 2020, what a year for everybody, and it's been really tough in places, and there's also been really high highs, which has been lovely, but yeah, I've gone through and thought about things that I love in general and also things that I love this year, and now it's just the time to talk about it. So yeah, it puts me in a really good mood preparing for this video. I go back and watch all of my videos where I talk about the things that I've loved so that I don't duplicate anything. And then it just gets me thinking about the things that I love. I make a list of the things that have happened this year. Not so much things that have happened this year, just things that like I love that have occurred. Yeah, I guess things that have happened this year. Look, I'm gonna get into it. Let's just get into it. So number one, there's all sorts of things in here, as will be shown by number one. The number one thing, no, it's not the number one thing because it's not in order. This is just in random order. Number one, motorway verges through the seasons. So in the UK, particularly where I have to drive on a bit of motorway to get to work, and verges of the motorways have really become sort of very representative of the seasons, particularly where I live. So the small bit of motorway that I have to drive on, it has like big trees either side and sort of like grass verges either side, and throughout the seasons, in the winter these trees are bare, and if it snows they have snow on them. In the spring they've got blossom on them. There's like wildflowers in the motorway verges. In the summer everything's really green, and in the autumn everything's golden and lovely. And like, apart from it being on a motorway, these parts are really gorgeous. And it's not just that motorway, like I've thought this, wherever I've been in the country, different motorway verges have like, they've got some really beautiful wildflowers and trees and stuff. So what a random thing to start with, but every time I drive and the seasons have changed, I think, oh god, I just love looking at those motorway verges. Number two is similar, it's flowers. So this year, and I can't believe I haven't mentioned this before, throughout the year I've tried to trek myself to fresh cut flowers a number of times the year, whether it be daffodils, which are very cheap and sort of hang around, and very bright and lovely, tulips, which are also very reasonable, you can get in different colours, and then sort of more recently sunflowers and things, just to brighten up the room or just to change things. Everybody has spent a lot more time at home this year. I'm sure that's sort of universal for everybody watching this channel. So to have things in the house which look slightly different and just brighten up the room has really made a difference for me this year. So yeah, if you're feeling a bit blue, I would never not say don't get yourself some flowers. Number three is reading aloud. So I've always been a bit of a reader alouder, and that's happened a lot more this year. David and I, partly because David and I have been reading a poetry collection. We read it all the way through autumn, and now we're on the winter collection where we take turns to read aloud a poem to each other every day. But like, I've been doing a lot more reading aloud, not just to David, but just sometimes if I'm in the bath, just reading a passage of a book aloud to sort of like makes it make more sense in my head, and I feel like I take it in a little bit more when I'm reading aloud. So yeah, that's something I've been doing a lot more of, and I've always loved it, so mention it away. The next thing is a lockdown thing. So throughout the lockdown, when I've been going to work, David has been working from home since March. He's only gone into the office once, and that was in like the height of summer. So he's been working from home every day, which is really different for him. David's job involves a lot of sort of like traveling around and things like that, and I've been doing a lot of working from home, but also going into the office at the hospital where I work. And every time I've gone in this year, David has made me a cheese sandwich to take to work, and those cheese sandwiches have just been a sort of representation of David. Normally when I get up for work in the morning, David is gone, long gone. Like he gets a train, he gets a bus into London, he's gone, he's been awake and left about 2 hours before I'm even waking up. So for me to be waking up in the morning and David waking up with me and making myself a sandwich and just getting himself out of bed, even though he doesn't have to, because he's not due to start work until 9 o'clock, so really he didn't need to roll out of bed till 8:45, but getting up when I've been getting up so that he can make me that cheese sandwich, that is just a representation of how much love like has been in those sandwiches, and just sending me off to work with something to eat and something that's been prepared at home that I don't have to worry about germies. I can just open and just eat. I think about those cheese sandwiches a lot, and I enjoy those cheese sandwiches a lot. And also, something he's done, I previously said in one of these videos, in fact, that I would never eat a sandwich, a cheese sandwich that had sliced cheese in it. I would only ever eat grated cheese. He started off grating that cheese, and then he started slicing the cheese, and I didn't even notice. So it just goes to show that I'm full of shit. And yeah, I'll eat those sliced cheese sandwiches forever. Number 5 is a ritual that I've made this year that's sort of become a bit of something. It's like a bit of a special sort of self-care moment, and I haven't done it for a while because I've actually got purple hair dye in at the moment, as you can see, so I haven't been able to do it. But I've got myself into this ritual where I put on the BBC Good Reads podcast, which is a podcast whereby the host and then 2 guests, normally sort of actors, comedians, authors, all sorts of people, pick a book each and then they discuss them. It's a half-hour long podcast, so they basically have about, not even half hour, they have about 12 minutes to discuss this book. And I've been putting that on, and then I've been having a bath, not having the lights on in the bath, so this is like a because normally I read in the bath, so this is like a non-reading bath, not having the lights on, just having either candle lit, or if I've timed it so that it's like when it's light, so a daytime bath or in the morning or something, and washing my hair in the bath and just listening and relaxing, steamy room of thing, and just listening to this podcast and washing my hair in the bath. And the only time I ever wash my hair in the bath, I listen to this Goodreads podcast. And as I said, I haven't done it for a while because I haven't been able to wash my, because I've been trying to get this colour out of my hair, which finally I feel like it's at the colour I wanted it to be. But that ritual has been really sort of like a lovely piece of time that's mine, and just listening to that podcast and focusing on nothing else other than that podcast. And sometimes I've read the book and I can listen to what they're saying. Sometimes I've never read the book and it's not a book I'm ever going to read, but just tuning in to that one podcast and just washing my hair in the bath has been a real sense of comfort for me this year. So yeah, what a strange thing, but yeah, honestly, every time I do it I really think it. We got to speed up. No, we haven't got to speed up, we can take as long as we want. Getting dressed up, that's another thing that hasn't really happened much this year, has it? Aside from when I did Outfits October, and when I go into the office I've been putting in a little bit of effort, and I really feel like getting dressed up has been a bit of a treat this year and has made me feel nicer. Just before the second lockdown happened in the UK, David and I had a meal booked after we'd got engaged, which is another one coming up later, and we went out and we got dressed up, and I straightened my hair and I put makeup on, and just having a lovely time, and just getting dressed up. And I've done it like when it was my birthday, and we all had like, it was lockdown for my birthday, so we all had like my birthday over Skype. We like getting dressed up for that and just stuff like that. I just feel like it's really, it's been a nice thing to do, to put something a bit jazzy on this year. Actually, next thing is getting engaged. That was number 7. So number 7 is getting engaged. David and I got engaged this year. I won't bore you with this. I will bore you with it. David and I put up our Christmas tree, this here Christmas tree, on the 2nd of November, I'd been thinking about asking David to marry me for such a long time, and I'd had a key ring made earlier this year, and I kept thinking, oh, like maybe I'll do it. Like we were supposed to go we were supposed to be going on holiday, we were supposed to go to Centre Parks, and I kept thinking, oh, maybe I'll do it in Centre Parks, but we were with my family, and I was like, oh, I prefer it just to be us two. We're not public proposal people, so I did think I'd do that. Then we were supposed to go to France at the beginning of November, then obviously that didn't happen, and then that holiday got cancelled, and I was like, oh, let's still put the Christmas tree up. And I was thinking, well, we're Christmas people, I'll just ask him in front of the Christmas tree. So I made sure that we spent the whole day putting the tree up together and having a lovely time, and it all being lovely. And then after, I said, oh, let's have a little photo by the Christmas tree, and I asked him to marry me by the Christmas tree, which was lovely. And yeah, it was really, really sweet, and he said yes, and it's just been a lovely feeling. It was really nice to sort of like share that news, and for both our sets of parents and friends and stuff to be really happy that we got engaged, like this year of all years when there hasn't been much news to celebrate. We've been living in a bubble of it, really, and the fact that we got engaged just before the second lockdown meant that we were were able to spend a bit of time by ourselves celebrating the fact that we'd got engaged. Like, we haven't, no, we've done nothing. We've done absolutely nothing in terms of making plans for the wedding. We haven't even really looked at anything, but we just sort of just been enjoying being engaged and stuff. So it's really, really nice. And yeah, it was just a lovely thing that happened to me this year. Next thing, number 8, from being engaged to eating loads of pickled stuff. I love pickled stuff, and I used to hate it when I was younger, so it just goes to show how your taste buds change. Something I've been really enjoying this year, which I am worried about because I don't think they're in the shops anymore, is I used to get this pickle in 15 Sarson's vinegar, and you could get it in a normal, like, original blend and then like a Mediterranean blend, and I bought bottles of the stuff. Every time I went into, I could normally only get it in Sainsbury's, every time I went into Sainsbury's I'd get a bottle of each, pickle cucumber or red onion, and just have a delicious, lovely time. Oh, David's back from Marks and Spencer's. In fact, I should probably go and help him empty because he's gone and done the Christmas food shop. And I've been really, really enjoying it. We went a bit pickle mad in the summer and it gave him a bit of a tummy ache. But yeah, I've been loving pickling stuff. Next up is, so it's a bit similar to one that I had last year. So last year I had non-alcoholic cocktails. This year is more the development and availability of non-alcoholic drinks. So what I've noticed, and I'm really delighted about, is in supermarkets, is that the low and no alcohol section of the alcohol section is becoming bigger and bigger. It used to be like 2 bottles of low alcohol beer, maybe a bottle of low alcohol wine, then it got to a shelf, then it was 2 shelves. Now in my local Morrison's, it's honestly like 2 massive facings of all sorts, from non-alcoholic beers and ciders and wines to spirits and like different varieties of the beer within like a beer brand. And it's just been really lovely to have that sort of accessibility for people who don't drink booze, to have that stuff there. So yeah, that's definitely been another something that I've loved this year. Next up is laying in. Now, I think I've denied myself of the, not denied myself, but I've definitely never fully like just owned the fact that I love a lay-in. So I really, really like laying in, like just like having a little lay-in, and just not even like a massively long lay-in, but like this morning was 8:45 and that was enough. Like I really, really like not having to get up for something and not having to set my alarm, and just having a lay in bed, and then when I wake up maybe reading in bed for a bit. Like today, for instance, I mean, I say not massively long time. Today I was in bed till about 11:45. I was doing like stuff for Vlogmas and like reading and stuff like that, but just having a lovely time laying in bed, and I don't think I've ever really truly owned that. The next thing is a TV programme. Now I don't often put like sort of favourites in here from the year, because that's not what this video is about. It isn't a sort of like roll call of my favourite things of the year. It's a amalgamation of things I've loved from this year, from previous, like ongoing whatever. But something that David and I watched this year and we've just been getting so much joy from and comfort is a programme called Call the Midwife, which is made by the BBC. I think they're about to start season 10 at Christmas. We've been watching it on Netflix. It's also available on BBC iPlayer if you don't have access to Netflix and you've got access to iPlayer. And it's just a history. It starts in the 60s, and it's a group of midwives who are living at a nunnery with midwife, I guess you call them midwife nuns, it starts in the 60s, and it's just a sort of in the east of London, and it's just a lovely comforting programme that sort of documents the progressions, not only in women's medicine, but like in all sorts of medicine, from the 60s up, no, well, I think it might even start in the 50s up until where we are now. And the characters in it are really, really well formed and lovely. There's light-hearted moments, there's really serious moments, and it really like educates you and things. And yeah, we've just been really, really loving it, and it's been really nice to sort of have that there to turn to in terms of a comforting thing. And if you're looking to get into a massive long series, please be my guest and take that, because there is so much stuff there. Like I said, there's like 10 series and each episode is about 50 minutes long, so it's a long old episode, but we've been really loving it, and whenever we get a spare moment, and David's been really enjoying it as well, so it's just been lovely to have that there as comfort. The next thing is David becoming a reader this year. That's been something that I've really, really loved to see. So ever since I've met David, he said, oh, I'm going to try and read 10 books this year, I'm going to try and read 10 books this year, and he's never done it, apart from this year, where when I'm filming this, and I'm filming this on the 21st of December, he has read 13 books this year, and he's never even got close to 10. Now that's there's a number of factors to this. The fact that it's been locked down, so there's been a lot less going out. We've been doing cozy reading nights throughout the year, throughout the lockdowns every other week, so much more cozy reading nights, and I think he's just really found a love in it, and it's just been so lovely to watch him find books that he loves and pick out books to read because he's loved this book, or and to hear him talking about it. And his Vlogmas this year has been a lot to do with reading as well. We did a TBR for the month. He's doing a reading vlog for the month, and it's just been so lovely because I've always been such a massive big reader, and it's been really nice that David previously, before I've met him, I don't think he'd ever read a book, and then for him to sort of take that on and just like now become a bit of a reader. It's just been lovely, and I know a lot of you guys have enjoyed watching David become a reader as well, which is lovely. Something else that I've been enjoying this year is pre-loved stuff. So this sort of feeds into things that have been going on the past few years, in that I've been buying a lot more secondhand clothes. Something else I was thinking of what I own a lot of secondhand stuff of. All of our vinyls that we play on our record player, the majority of them are secondhand. We get them in charity shops, at boot fairs. This year I've been buying a lot more secondhand glassware. I'm just seeing if any of the things that I've bought here, like candlestick holders and little bowls and things like that, just stuff that's already been loved and used somewhere else. It's really nice to sort of give that thing a second home, and I would always be urging people to do that. Next up, now this was originally skincare, and I watched back all of my videos and realised that I'd mentioned my skincare routine, whatever that was, in like my first video, and I don't even feel like I had a skincare routine until recently, so I've changed it from skincare to Caroline Hirons. So this year I discovered Caroline Hirons through recommendations queen, my cousin Laura. She's a skincare specialist who is mainly active on sort of like Instagram, and I think she's got a Facebook group as well, talking about things to do with how to get on top of your skin. And this year has been the year that I have cracked my skin. I haven't, that's a nasty term, but like I haven't got any, like since I was about 13, I would say not a day had gone by where I don't have spots. At the moment I've got sort of blemishes, sure, but I don't think I've got a spot on my face. I have been double cleansing, I've been spritzing myself, I'm moisturising, and all of this is down to Caroline Hirons, who taught me literally everything that I needed to know, and every single skincare question I've had up until this year in the period of 4 days when I read her book Skincare. Now this book was amazing. I borrowed it off my cousin Laura, and I've actually bought myself a copy since then because it was so valuable to me, and I know I will go back. It's got every single question I've ever had about skincare, as I said, but also it's written in such a good way, and also I feel like this about her Instagram stories and her posts on Instagram, that she gives you this base knowledge, and then you constantly draw from that base knowledge, and everything's so accessible and so amazing, and I just find her amazing, and I'm just so happy that I discovered her this year, because yeah, my skin's never been better. Number 15 is doing chores with David. So throughout this year, David and I have been doing chores together on a Saturday morning. So I know it's hard for a lot of people who spend in a lot of time at home, particularly David and I. We live in a flat where there's not that many rooms to sort of not be apart from each other. We're quite fortunate, we've got a separate bedroom, lounge and kitchen area, so we can be in separate rooms, but like we have been spending a lot of time together, and a lot of that has been watching telly and things like that. So when we were at the height of it, where we were literally like together all the time, what we would do on a Saturday, we would put on headphones each, listen to a podcast, listen to music, and just get on with half of the house's worth of chores. And it was really good to sort of like have something to do, and also to sort of just be apart from that person, and just be listening to things that were on, rather than listening to them listening to a podcast in another room or something like that. So yeah, doing chores, it's been fun. Sort of like, it's just been good to have that routine, I think, has also been very helpful. Next up is having my bra off. So this is number 16. So having my bra off has been one of my natural states this year, just being comfy. Comfort has just been the name of the game this year, hasn't it? But number 17 is the fact that I've been working from home quite a lot of this year. During the first lockdown, I was able to work from home, and I've been doing that sort of 1 week on, 1 week off throughout up until, well, it's still going on now. And being able to, and when I first started working from home, every morning I was like, gonna get dressed, get everything done, put my makeup on. I don't have to do like, often have to do Zoom calls or anything like that. A lot of my work is like done just on phone calls, or so I don't have to be like on a screen. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna get there. And then most recently, because it's been colder in the morning, I'm like, no, I'll stay in my pyjamas. I get as much work done in my pyjamas as I do in my clothes. If I had a meeting, I'd obviously get changed, change, but like just being able to work from home to give me that like safety net to know that, because I work in a hospital as well, it's tough. Like it's scary. It's scary going to a hospital where there's cases of coronavirus and your boyfriend's working from home and you don't want to be the person that gives him coronavirus because he ain't going anywhere. So the only place he's going to get it is from you, who's back and forth to a hospital. So being able to work from home every other week meant that I could sort of rest easy and think, oh well, we're safe together at the moment. And like I've been sleeping quite badly recently, and yesterday David and I didn't leave the house. We didn't have to go anywhere or anything like that, and I slept so well, and I really think it was because we didn't have to leave the house. And yeah, I just feel like the working from home has just provided me with a little extra safety net of doing that, and also just being able to showcase the fact that I can do my job from home has been like a really like sort of a moment of pride for me at work this year, to show how I'm able to function doing my job from at home, and doing, not even just managing to do my job from home, like doing my job from home and doing it well has been something I've been really proud of this year. Next up is our postal worker. So we've had a series of postal workers throughout the year. Started off at the beginning of the year with a young lad who we were very fond with. Then we got a woman did it for a while, and now we're back. Now we're with a bloke again. But they have worked so hard this year. I mean, who hasn't worked hard this year? But they have worked so hard, and particularly like when everybody's been getting everything delivered on the run up to Christmas, everything. That I get a lot of stuff delivered here anyway, books and things like that. So like, I just want to say thank you to the postal workers and the delivery workers and everybody this year. Like they've just done, what they've done this year has been absolutely amazing. And ours in particular, just lugging me loads and loads of books here every week. Thank you. Next up is instrumental music. Now this sort of started with David and I getting into a bit more instrumental music around Christmas, and now I'm thinking that I'm going to really like follow this through into the new year, because we've been listening to instrumental Christmas music, also a bit of Christmas hymns, and being able to get on with stuff while that's on in the background. So like David playing games, me reading. Previously I never thought I could read whilst there was noise in the background, but I've been able to do it with instrumental Christmas music or like spa-like music, and I'm thinking we need to maybe have a look into that and find what bits of music we can do. Definitely nothing with words in, but like definitely background music. So I'd like to see if any of that, if I can find music in 2021 which will actually help me to read. Next up is another thing with David and to do with books. It's listening to audiobooks with David. So this is something that I've enjoyed doing previous years, but it doesn't really happen very often. But most recently, in the most recent cozy reading night, Christmas cozy reading night, David was listening to the end of Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas, and it was really nice. We just sat up here, David did a bit of colouring, I did some puzzle, and we were just listening and sort of like chipping in little bits about the audiobook. And it's just something that I've enjoyed over the years when we've gone on holiday and listened to an audiobook together. And yeah, it's just something I really enjoy, and I'm looking forward to doing it a lot more of. Then number 21 is recreating some favourite things to do at home. So as I've said, a lot of this year's been spent at home, and some of the favourite things that David and I like doing are going out for breakfast, going to the cinema, that's one of David's favourite things, going to the pub, David enjoys going to the pub, mine is going to the spa. It doesn't happen very often, but when I do, I love a massage, I love a nice chill. So what David and I did for various points throughout the year was recreate something, so we'd recreate one of those experiences at home. So like we had cinema, I made it like a cinema in here, even put on like background music of people chattering so it sounded like we were in a cinema. David did that for me and created like a series of trailers, and then I got to pick which film I wanted to watch. I made a pub in here and did us like a pub dinner, and bought like a few little like dart boards and things like that to play. And yeah, he's done me a spa. He actually did me a spa. He's done me a spa twice this year, once for my birthday and once for another, where he makes this room like a little spa and puts like candles in a bowl and some spa music on, and done me a massage and painted my toenails. And yeah, it's just been really nice just being able to sort of use our imaginations to think up something that will make the other person happy. So yeah, we've enjoyed doing that this year, but hopefully back to spas and cinemas and things this year. I haven't been to the cinema since March. David went once to see Tenet, but apart from that we haven't been to the cinema, so David's desperate to get back there. In 2021 we will. Number 22 has been all of your support. So I just want, and not just like through not just through like being like a Patreon supporter, for instance, or joining in with Cozy Reading Night. I mean, anyone who watches these videos, even if you've watched for your first time, you don't comment, or you've watched for ages and you've never commented, your views and your likes and your comments and your Patreon support and joining in with Cozy Reading Night using the hashtag, liking my Lauren and the Books Outfit October video photos, everything means so much. And particularly this year when I've really doubled down on my booktube and my Instagram. It's been a great sort of source of keeping myself busy with something. Won't go too much about keeping myself busy because that's another point later on, but like, your support just means so much to me, and I love it every year, but this year it's meant double as much. And the fact that I've got a Patreon account where people can support me through various ways, but one of the tiers is a book club tier, and people have lost their jobs this year and people haven't had the money to sort of treat themselves to things, and I was really expecting that Patreon account to sort of this year, and it hasn't. People have joined in, people are really excited about book club throughout 2021, and it's just been lovely. So thank you to all of you, anyone who's ever watched a video, liked a video, commented, is a Patreon of mine, joins in with things, like, just thank you. Like, you make it all worth it. I love doing it anyway, but you guys make it all worth it, so thank you. Then penultimate thing, so these two things I guess are linked in together. No, maybe they're not. So penultimate thing that we've done a couple of times this year has been moving furniture around. Again, we've all been in the house quite a lot this year, but being able to have my sofa over here for a few months of the year, my table over there, put up a new picture over there, do this, it's just made things feel a bit different, and it's just made the room feel sort of different in terms of seasonally, and it's something we're definitely going to continue to do because we've got quite an unusual shaped lounge here. It's almost like hexagonal or like diamond shape. So when you look at it, you think, oh, there's not much you can do with that. But we've had it in 2 or 3 different ways this year. Even like moving my big yellow chair into the bay window for a Cozy Reading Night so I could sit and be comfy and have a look out the window has been lovely. So yeah, that's been really enjoyable as well. And then lastly, it's just been keeping busy. Like, I've been really, really delighted to have things to keep me busy, whether that be doing my chores with David on a Saturday morning, cooking myself a dinner or a recipe and just focusing on that, my YouTube channel, Instagram, just anything to sort of keep me busy has been really valuable this year to sort of, so because there's been a lot of like quiet time, and as you'll all know, we're facing quite a different Christmas this year, and normally those days in between Christmas and New Year where David and I are on the sofa in our pajamas and we watch TV and read our new books and play with our new toys, like normally those days are so valuable because we have quite a busy social life, but that hasn't happened this year. So anything to keep us busy I've been so happy for, and yeah, one of those things has been this YouTube channel. So yeah, those are the 24 things for my things that I love video this year. I hope you've enjoyed this. As I said, if you're feeling a bit blue with the thoughts of Christmas coming, have a little think about all the things that you've loved, not just this year, but just things that you love anyway. Treat yourself to some of them. And yeah, I'll see you all again tomorrow for the last Vlogmas video. Goodbye!